Oh, hello! What's going on, everybody? My name is James Reiner, and it's been a little while since we got the Shenmue 3 teaser in progress video during Gamescom, and now that the hype has, evened out a little bit, and now that, the initial reactions from the teaser have evened out a little bit, and, I've had time to revisit the teaser and kind of get a more deeper look into it in a kind of more focused attitude, because I was super hyped when it came out. So I figured I'll go back through the teaser and kind of explain what we're seeing, and maybe dive into a little bit of the theory behind some of the stuff we're looking at. So yeah, so right here I have the YouTube video up here from the official Sony channel of the Shenmue 3, the first teaser, although it's technically a progress video according to the Kickstarter release of this, but not going to get into that right now. So I'm pretty much just going to play the video, and I'm going to pause it at certain parts to, get a feel for what's going on here. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to play the video now and just kind of pause and talk a little bit. YSNet presents. Okay, so the first part we have here is obviously this is the cave at the end of Shenmue 2, where Ryo and Shenhua, they go to the stone pit, where apparently Shenhua's stepfather works. We don't really know what he does, but we're assuming that he's some sort of stonemason. And he works in this one area that he would always tell Shenhua that she should never enter.
確かこの奥に扉が。
この奥に。
こっち。
これか。
扉が開いている。いつもは鍵がかかっているのに。
この向こうには何が？
わからない。父は一度も中に入れてくれなかった。もしかするとこの中に。
行こ
う。Right. So they do enter this area when they go to the stone pit to bring him lunch, but they don't really find him anywhere. So they go into this area, and you get the sword of 7 stars. You see the mirror and the sword do some weird stuff, and now you have 2 giant mirrors in front of you. What these mirrors are, we don't know. I do have a theory as to what these mirrors are and how they connect to the Chiyu men and Shenhua's stepfather. Yeah, so that's where the intro starts, which is pretty nice, because where they're actually standing is exactly where they were standing at the end of Shenmue 2, the exact ending.
う。これは。
竜と鳳凰。
鏡と同じだ。
父はこれを。
So it's kind of neat to see a continuation of that ending, because that's where it ends and we never got anything after that, so it's pretty cool. So let's keep going here. Okay, so here we just have just quick shots of Shenhua and Ryo. I think the reason why they showed them together like that is because Shenhua and Ryo obviously are the focus of this game. Shenhua, I think, is going to become a character just as important as Ryo, because obviously from everything Yu Suzuki said, like, she's very important. I also remember somewhere him saying that she's actually his favorite character, so should be pretty cool. So they showed her face and they showed his face, which is awesome, because I remember that was also a huge question in the community as to what these characters will look like in the final game. Now, from the promotional stuff we got after Gamescom, it looks like Ryo's face looks even better than it does here, which is pretty awesome. So let's continue on. We get the nice logo there. Okay, so I'm going to stop here because this is really important. So, what we're seeing here is them leaving the cave, right? Which is amazing because there's been a joke in the community for, you know, a decade and a half of, oh, they're stuck in the cave, you know? So it's cool that the teaser opens with them in the cave, and then they leave the cave, right? But the question here is, what is Shenhua pointing at, right? You know, they walk outside, she points out, and I actually kind of have a couple questions as to where they are. I'm assuming that they're right outside the cave. Definitely not at the crag cave, but the stone pit. And she's pointing to what looks like a tower in the background, which we can see. Let me move my mouse here. Right here. So what is this tower? That's an interesting question. It's one of two places in my opinion. It's either Bailu Village, or it could even be sorry. It could even be that one village that we saw like kind of like beta screenshots of. We know that there was an area in Shenmue 2 that was cut, which was eventually confirmed in one of the Shenmue 3 developer videos released on the official Shenmue 3 channel.
As many fans may already know from the internet, there's a village that was deleted from the final version of Shenmue. The villagers all wore traditional Chinese folk clothing. The set was like at a Shaolin monastery. Not really all masters, but everyone still learning martial arts. So they would all be on chin-up bars and doing other training exercises as part of their daily life. The village didn't really fit with the flow of the story, so the village got cut.
And that tower here kind of resembles the tower in those screenshots, in my opinion, which is really interesting to think about. Now, there's a lot of questions like, was that cut area meant to be Bailu Village? Apparently, it was actually an area in between either Shenhua's house and the stone pit, or an area in between Langguishan and Shenhua's house. I don't exactly remember. What's also kind of interesting is that Bailu Village in Shenmue 3 kind of looks like the cut area of Shenmue 2. I won't deny that. So, like, even though we have a confirmation, I still think that that area that was cut out of Shenmue 2 might have been somewhat Bailu Village-y, if you will. So, yeah. And also, what I also find interesting and is where they're standing is this, I'm assuming it's outside the stone pit, but I've actually hacked the stone pit area to be free roam, right? And if you walk outside the stone pit, you kind of don't see this area. It looks a little different, which I'll put on the screen now for you guys. I actually did a full walkthrough of the stone pit area, so if you want to check it out, I'll put it in the cards above. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Shout out to Blue Mew, I think, came up with the technique for that. So let's continue on here. Also, Shenhua's outfit looks pretty cool. Okay, so the scene where Ryo is, looks like he's sparring and being taught a move, possibly. It looks like that's the port area that we keep seeing in Shenmue, in the Shenmue 3 teaser, like later on here. And we actually know where this town is. I'm assuming it's Chobu in the game, but the area that they show is actually based off of a real place in China, which Obviously, everything in Shenmue is based off a real place. Shout out to who actually posted about this in the Shenmue 500K Facebook group. And so yeah, it's pretty cool that like we kind of know the area that it's from. I think it's because like they've been there before, like maybe not because of Shenmue or anything like that, but they're like some of the fans just like recognize the area immediately, which is pretty awesome. So let's continue on here. Okay, so the water area, I don't know where that is. I'm assuming it's connected to Chobu, since Chobu seems to be a port town, maybe like riding away from Chobu, or like maybe the river that lines Shenhua's house, maybe that's a part of that river. Is it the Li River? Is that what it's called? I don't remember. And that's a really beautiful shot, though. So, yeah, I don't know where that is. There's not really much context as to what that river is. However, it does kind of look like the boat that Ryo rides in on in Shenmue 2. Not this part, not this scene, but the scene later. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead a little bit. Okay, so this guy seems to be a new character, as they showed in the some of the Kickstarter updates. And if we look at some of the footage released of Shenmue 3 through like the developer documentaries, I think Switch from Phantom Riverstone actually translated some subtitles where a character is talking about their area being attacked. I'm assuming that the Chiyu men maybe sent somebody to Bailu Village. Because obviously they came, I'm pretty sure they captured Shenhua's stepfather, which is why he wasn't there. Or Shenhua's stepfather works for the Chiyu men, which I have a really good theory about, but that'll be for another video. So I'm assuming that since Landi knows that Ryo's coming for him because of the events in Shenmue 2 in Kowloon, maybe they sent somebody to, quote-unquote, defeat Ryo so he doesn't get too far or figure out too many things. So I think that guy is there to fight him, which is also interesting because I think the first part takes place in Bailu Village, but the second part, where you kind of see them do their stance there, I think that's the Great Wall of China. And that's because of a screenshot release of the Great Wall of China, where if you zoom in real hard, I think you can see Ryo in it. Okay, so let's move on a little bit. So we start to see a little more of the Chobu area. Not much there, kind of just like a little bit of an environmental scenery going on, because I mean Shenmue has a very hyper focus on like the small and minuscule stuff that the player can interact with. So I think they're showing a little bit of that, which looks amazing. Here's the Phoenix Mirror in HD, and that looks really cool. So I'm happy to see that, because like now we have a super high res texture of the Phoenix Mirror, which is pretty awesome. And it looks nice too, like, if you were to think about what the Phoenix Mirror looks like in Shenmue 2, like, that looks like a Phoenix Mirror. That's pretty awesome. So kudos to whoever made that for the game. Okay, so what I think here is, they eventually realize that Shenhua's stepfather is not around, so they actually go back to Shenhua's house, and him looking at the mirror and her talking is probably them gathering themselves after the events of not finding her stepfather, which is what I'm assuming. So here we had, once again, more shots. I think there's some significance to the masks there, because they look very traditional, so I'm sure somebody who knows Chinese culture much better than I do can maybe figure out what those masks are about, what they represent. Maybe they're significant to a certain area or something like that. Or maybe when we play the game, we'll find out. So here we have the river once again. It looks like it's the same mountain range that you see kind of outside Shenhua's house. And yeah, so that's pretty cool. And like I said, that boat kind of looks like the boat that Ryo rides in on, so maybe that's the transport boat between like Langguishan or Bailu Village or somewhere else. Unless that boat is just like one of many boats and they just happen to look like that. So here we have just a fly-through of what I assume is Chobu, which is pretty awesome. I don't think we've really seen anything about Baisha yet, except for like some in-development like artwork, I think, that was released back in the earlier days of the Kickstarter campaign, which is pretty cool. Chobu looks really nice. I kind of like how like the sun sets in with the water and like just how it reflects off the buildings and stuff, which looks really cool. And then we get the Shenmue 3 logo with the artwork in the background. And that's it. Produced and directed by Yu Suzuki, YSNet. We got the Deep Silver logo. And some more logos. So that seems to be the teaser trailer. I think not trailer, sorry, that's not the right word. This teaser, I feel, was definitely made to show off the game, but I like that they kind of inserted little tidbits here and there that allow you to kind of figure out what's going on or a little more context. I do think that this teaser only has like maybe the first hour of the game in it, because it seems like there's a lot of events that, like, if you actually put in like a chronological order of the story, these are events that I assume would only probably happen early in the game. So yeah, so that's pretty cool. So yeah, so I guess that's the teaser, guys. I hope you enjoyed this a little bit more of an in-depth breakdown of it. And yeah, so I'm super hyped for the game. I can't wait. I'll probably be in Japan when it comes out, because I'm going to be in Japan mid-2018, so that should be pretty hype. I actually want to go and celebrate the release of it in Dobuita Street, so in real life. So we'll see if my trip is timed correctly with when the game actually comes out, because we don't quite know yet. We just know it's like somewhere mid-2018 or something like that. So yeah, thanks for watching, and as always, have a nice day.